Hi folks, welcome to HUGHROCKO, interviews on location again. Today we're here with Andy Sharp of the duo Bad Science. So Andy, I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Who are your guitar influences?
Oh, my guitar influences, starting probably from when I first got interested in guitar, were people like probably Jimmy Page, Tony Iommi, Eric Clapton.
Definitely.
You know, they were the first guitarists that I started to listen to, and then kind of progressing on from that really was when I first heard Eddie Van Halen.
Wow, yeah.
And that completely changed the way I start to think about guitar. You know, when you first hear Van Halen and you start to think, is that guitar, is that keyboards, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
You know, it was just opened up a whole world of playing for me. So probably he's, you know, the biggest influence, if you want, biggest inspiration, I think, for guitar playing for me. Probably moving on from that, Randy Rhoads.
Oh yeah.
You know, in fact, I was just earlier on today. I was listening to some Ozzy because I'm going to see Ozzy next week. And you know, Randy Rhoads, it just his playing.
Phenomenal.
It was just different class really.
Yeah, I remember first heard the tribute album.
Yeah,
the one
the live one. Yeah.
Because the guitarist I was playing top of the time, guitarist we had at the time, he put it on. I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
Some of the, and that's back then.
Phenomenal. Well, but that's the thing, is like you've got to remember how young he was then.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like in his 20s, playing that back then, which was what 30-40 years ago now, like early 80s, and you just think, had he not tragically died, like what would he have gone on to achieve since then?
Yeah, well, have you seen the Lost tapes?
Yeah,
some of the classical stuff that he played, you've never seen him playing live. Like,
just phenomenal technical ability and phenomenal playing.
Yeah.
Ridiculous playing. Yeah. You know.
Well, Ozzy's always had that with guitar players. He's been lucky.
Well, yeah, I think he has, and which brings me on to probably the next guy, which is Jakey Lee.
Jakey, yeah. He's still phenomenal.
He is. I've had the honour of actually meeting Jakey Lee back in when he was toured with Badlands.
All right.
And fantastic player. Really great. When you watch him visually on stage,
that's one of the things I liked about him.
He just moved so great, played, he was cool.
Oh, very.
Just a great player.
He never used the Floyd either.
No, Charvel fixed bridge.
And even his new guitar, the blue one, still fixed bridge.
Yeah. But he used it in different ways. Obviously, bending behind the nut was the thing, and bending the neck with the, you know, to kind of dive bomb it and things like that. Brilliant player.
Brilliant.
And then, you know, there's the obvious kind of shredders, you know, your Steve Vais, Satriani, Malmsteen. I think most guitarists are gonna quote these people.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, if you play guitar, I think you can't not listen to them and just, you know,
take something.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Whether it's, you put it into your playing, you still.
Yeah, of course, and you know, Paul Gilbert, another great player who I've seen twice recently, once with Mr. Big and once on his own. And, just again, technique-wise, you know, excellent, just different world.
The thing about Paul is he could just stand and play a blues riff. Or he could shred. Whereas some of these other guitarists tend to just do what they do.
Yeah.
But Paul, I watched him the other day, and he was just sort of playing. I was like, wow! And then next minute he's incredible
player.
And weird guitars though, even though they're iron, it's a weird shape.
Yeah, but you know, what a player. Another player who I really like, who I went to see quite recently, Richie Kotzen as well. Great player. Obviously, probably found fame when he did an album with Poison. That's not really you know what he's about, and he now has given up playing with Pick, plays just just finger with his fingers, but really good technician, and a great player. Other players probably more for the tone than although he's a completely off the scale player, Eric Johnson.
Yeah. Oh wow.
But you just listen to his sound, and it's just an incredible
strat as well.
Incredible tone.
Oh,
brilliant players. So they're the kind of players that I enjoy listening to. Whether my playing would ever get anywhere near any of those, if you practice from now till forever.
I would always say when I played the band B that you were like an Eddie Van Halen the second for sure.
Yeah.
Give it socks, and that's you've sort of got that style and sound right down.
It comes from those players, but probably another guitarist who I really like, and I've always admired his style and his tone is from Def Leppard, Phil Collins from Def Leppard.
I love him.
He's very and went to see Def Leppard only a few weeks back, and he plays for the song.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's not very flash. He tends to just do what he does, but his tone is amazing.
But he can do it, and it's all about the tone. It's all about the sound. Just a great solid player.
Very much so. Solid man all over.
Yeah.
He must go to the gym a lot, because he still plays the same way with his shirt off.
He likes to show it off as well.
Well, if you've got it flaunted,
exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So they're my probably sums it up really.
Yeah. So when did you actually start playing guitar yourself? What age?
Quite young, probably 14, 15.
Yeah.
I actually played a classical instrument before I picked up the guitar. I used to play the cello. I used to play that as an orchestral instrument in school, but I got to a stage where I got all right at playing it, and they wanted me to join the orchestra. But orchestra practice was the same time as PE, so I'd have to give up my PE, and also you had to give up one of your lunch times, and I kind of passed it up. But I started. I picked up the guitar. I think a lot of people, when you get into your teenage years, you start to want to express yourself.
Yeah,
I think, and
definitely.
I picked up a guitar. My first guitar actually was one that somebody had thrown out. I found it in a just dumped somewhere. I had no strings.
Why not?
Acoustic guitar, and started from there. Really, it was a horrible guitar. The action was about an inch off the fretboard. It was just horrible, and but it was enough to start learning basic chords on it, and went from there, and then I've always played kind of Strat shaped guitars. My first electric guitar was like a Strat copy, and I've always.
But your guitars are like super Strats.
Yeah, super Strats.
That's what I'm into.
Definitely. I've always played them type, whether it be Ibanez or Washburn, Charvel, them type of guitars.
Yeah.
I've always.
You could do anything with them.
Yeah, they're very versatile. They if you get a good one, it's set up well. They stay in tune.
Well, that's what I've always said. Some people say to me, "What's your favourite guitar?" And my brother always laughs because he builds guitars. And I always say to him, "One that stays in tune and plays well." Who makes that? Well, anybody.
Yeah.
Because yourself, you can pick up a Gibson now and go, "Oh, it's not been looked after."
Yeah.
And you can pick up a cheap thing and go, "Well, this is great."
It's all about what suits you, what feels right, the weight and having the balance of the guitar, the fretboard. What does that feel like in your hands? I've tried playing like you mentioned Gibsons, like Les Pauls, and I know millions of guitarists will swear by them.
Oh yeah.
But for me,
no, they're not for me.
They don't feel right. They just I don't like the feel of them. No. But the Strat shaped guitar is what feels comfortable on me.
I love Les Pauls for rhythm. They just sound great. They sound amazing. I had a Gould one.
Yeah.
I was on a copy, and recently I looked back on some of the stuff I mean Vicky done about 10 years ago. And the sound of it was phenomenal. And I had a G8 788 or something. It was a green thing. I'm thinking, I can't get that sound now. You know what I mean? But that was Les Paul, and I'm not a Les Paul person. But
no, I don't dispute that the tone from them is fantastic, and
people say the woo sound, woo, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the sustain and all the rest of it. One of my friends that I know has got a really expensive Gibson Les Pauls from like the kind of late 60s, early 70s it is, but it weighs a ton.
You can't fall in love with it.
Oh my word! I picked it. I thought, how do you stand on stage and hold this thing? It's just like a slab.
It's the other thing as well. You're probably like me. To play Les Paul, your style needs to change because you're used to this. Bang, wee, or even when you strum a chord, you can't do that with Les Paul.
No, it's
so you sort of.
It's a difference.
You have to think. You have to think of your solos now. Whereas when you've got a Charvel or what we've got on Ibis, you're weight. You don't have to think, because if somebody gave you a Les Paul, you'd go, I'm going to play. You really think.
Because if you've used that type of guitar for years and played with that style of playing for years, it's ingrained into you, and that's it.
Brilliant. So, talk about some of the bands you've been in.
Okay. Very first band I was in was one that we started at school, really. I've been playing a couple of years, and it got to a stage where there was various people had guitars, and we used to just stay behind one night a week in school playing, and it started to form into a band. And one lad bought a bass. There was about 8 of us with guitars. One lad stood up and he said, well, I'll be the singer, because he didn't have a guitar but he wanted to be involved. And we never had a drummer, and actually what started is I wanted to be in a band so much, I actually said, well, I'll get drums and I'll be the drummer, because I just wanted it to work, and there was a couple, I knew there was a couple of other lads have been playing a little bit longer than me, who'd had lessons, and they were just that little bit more advanced, so they became by default the guitar players, and we formed a band, and we played our first gig in 1992 at the Cavern. We played
first gig was
at the Cavern,
that's
and we could barely play, and we got it basically because our singer, his confidence grew the more he drank. Let's put it that way. And
his voice never.
But he was out on a night out one night and was talking to the guy in the cabin and talked him into giving us a gig, and we played there a few times. Looking back, our enthusiasm was more than our musical abilities.
I think it always is. When you're a young guy, you're like, we're going to do this, we're going to rule the world. And
exactly. But and then we went on from then after a few gigs under our belts, really. The guitarist we had at the time, we were at that age then where sixth form had finished. He went off to university, and I said, well, look, I carried on playing. I said, I want to now take over on guitar, but get another drummer. Did a few gigs on that, and then it all kind of fizzled out, and that was it.
As it does.
But band wise, played in a classic rock band for about 4 years called the X-Files. They were the Who, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, all that kind of stuff. But again, as a drummer, and although my first instrument is a guitar, actually you learn so much from playing drums in a band. Yes. You just learn how it all fits together. And how important it is from a rhythm point of view to lock in with the other instruments.
Definitely.
And I just learned so much by doing that. And
I would say this, when you go into a guitar and you've been a drummer, you know the dynamics and stuff. I mean, Martin said to me recently, he said, Chuck, I've only realised that over the last 4 years or something, how important it is to listen to the whole band.
Yeah.
He said, because sometimes when you're in a band, it's that bloody loud, you can't hear anything else. He says, whereas now playing in Firefly, I've got in-ears on so I can hear the whole band.
Yeah.
And it's changed my perspective. It's made me more of a musician rather than just a drummer. I said, I've always thought that when I was a drummer. So when you go into guitar, you do. So I get what you mean.
The other thing that you appreciate more is that when you're just a pure guitarist, you think you've got to fill all the space with riffing and chords and little fills and solos, but actually it's about leaving a bit of space and letting the beat and the bass and all the rest of it just fill in them gaps. And
well, that's how it worked with us, because I went on to the rolling thing.
Yeah, of course.
But if they hadn't the twos, we would have been going mental.
Yeah,
you know, it would have been Thin Lizzy all over. Whereas I thought, oh, I do this, I'm playing a bit of piano and you can do what you want.
Yeah.
And you heard there was space.
Oh, God, yeah.
Especially on Hungry Like the Wolf, because I had to get that thing off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that hard to play, but it was getting the right... And I really enjoyed it, yeah.
It was great. I've, you know, from playing the drums with the X-Files, I then... the Ramones clones.
The Ramones clones.
Yeah, I auditioned as the drummer. They're quite a established Ramones tribute band based in London. Really, I was asked to go and audition. But they were also looking for a guitar player, and I knew a couple of the songs, probably Blitzkrieg Bop and I Want to Be Sedated or something.
Two Ramones songs.
Yeah.
And that's that one you just mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't know, was it Jeannie was a punk rocker or something?
Sheena
was a punk rocker. And another one, Baby, I Love You.
Yeah.
I think it's only three.
They were all in the set.
You know what I mean?
In the set. But yeah, got the gig, went them. Now the problem was, because they were kind of London based, but we were spread out all over the place, a lot of the gigs were quite far away.
Yeah.
You know, I played in Essex and London and places like Devon and absolute miles away.
Miles.
But it was really, really good experience. Did it for a year. We got to play like kind of small theatres. We were normally on a bill with other like kind of punk tribute bands, like you know, maybe a Sex Pistols tribute band, Green Day tribute band. But you know, the opportunity to play on, you know, big stages, big PAs, and
big crowds.
Oh yeah, and you know, when you go through a big PA system, it's incredible. Even if you've only got a relatively like small amp or something, it's mic'd up, and you strum it, and you just have this massive sound come out, and you think, is that me? What?
And usually they'll give you it back in your mix as well.
Yeah.
So
it sounds incredible.
Yeah, it does.
So did that for about a year, but it was I never made any money out of it because, you know, the travelling expenses or staying over in a hotel and all this kind of stuff, and just the amount of travelling, it meant it was probably not a viable thing.
And the van breaks down and all the money goes on that to get fixed.
Yeah, so it was no good. So
fun.
So yeah, but then I had the opportunity to play in like a local band, very, very established on a local circuit, which were Cube.
Oh yeah.
Cube. Yeah, band kind of thrown in at the deep end. A few rehearsals, and it was off you go with this set list.
I think I seen the first video. There was a couple of howlers. Hello.
Well, I'll be honest.
But that was good though, because you were dropped in.
I didn't know the songs, and you know, but you know, again, great experience to play a lot of local venues.
Yeah. Amazing.
And you know, from there, just again, a couple of other like local bands, really. The Felony, that was a great band, and then the Felony, we started right from scratch, and it went really well for a couple of years. But actually, what I did, I left the band because I actually wanted to kind of concentrate on my playing a little bit. And when you're gigging every weekend, you tend to practice the songs. You don't necessarily practice your technique.
No, you don't.
And there was things that I wanted to improve, so they decided to, you know, kind of move on from that. And I actually like the idea of maybe starting a duo. However, I got the opportunity to be in the band with yourself, as you've already just mentioned, and it was a really good opportunity. Like you had your guitar synth thing. I was playing regular, you know, lead guitar, and it worked so well. It was a great sounding band, and we had a blast. We did a good run of gigs, and and that was it. You know, so obviously we did that. Don't Bring Frank.
Don't Bring Frank.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, check out the videos. They're hanging around
someplace.
Yeah,
forever.
There's no getting away from them once they're out there.
No.
And then that carried that on with another band, similar format. Female singer. We did that for a while. And then that was Giant Leap.
That's it.
Giant Leap.
It was something like
Giant Leap. Yeah. Again, local musicians playing. You know, female singers. So mixture of songs. So not just out and out rock, but you know, some pop songs in there. Some a bit. You know, a bit of variety.
Yeah.
And even did after that a short stint as the Edge in a U2 tribute.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was a good experience. You know,
I fall off the stage like Edge.
No, but it was, you know, again, it was a good way of really thinking about getting the sound. You know, it's a very, very important thing.
Yeah, because he's a different kind of player.
Yeah,
it's all bits and.
Yeah, it's about getting your delays right on your effects.
I would say, I mean, you know yourself, when you play a solo, you could sort of change it. But with U2, I think it would have to be.
Yeah, it's got
it's not really soul, is it?
It's got to sound right.
Yeah, it's got to be on the money.
Yeah, and then had the opportunity then to start up an 80s duo, which is what I'm in now. Bad Science.
Lights and all.
Yeah, lights and everything. Check out the video. Just again, we to be honest, we never started out with the intention of being an 80s duo.
Yeah.
But our singer Richie, he's much into the 80s, and it's always been said of my playing that it's you know of an 80s kind of
definitely
an 80s kind of influence. So we did a first couple of gigs. Everyone liked all the 80s stuff that was in the set, and it was about 50% 80s anyway. And we said, let's just go the whole hog.
Let's go for it.
Just go for the 80s, and it really took off and going really well.
Amazing.
Really well.
Good, that's working for you.
It is, yeah.
Good stuff.
Great.
So, what would you say your favourite venues are?
Favourite venues? Oh my word! Well, it's nice.
You have to watch what you're saying.
I know.
You see this video and go, oh really?
Well, it's nice to have a venue where you've got a bit of a stage.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of pubs that you're playing, you're on the floor, which is okay.
Yeah.
But you get people dancing, you get people standing on your gear, all that kind of stuff. But you take that. But it's nice if you've got venues where maybe you've got a bit of a stage, you've got a bit of a dance floor is nice. Get people up dancing. Unfortunately, the way pubs have gone at the moment, most pubs are kind of, food type of places. So you're often setting up. People are there still eating and things. There isn't really a dance floor, but that's just the way pubs have gone. But there are still a lot of good venues out there, and a lot of good venues who are still supporting music,
which is
still putting their hand in the pocket. Yeah, paying for bands and keeping it going.
Over the last couple of years, I've lost a lot of good venues. Yeah,
even on our local area here on the Wirral, lots and lots of venues that had regular bands. Fridays and Saturdays have gone.
And they were full. These places as well.
Yeah, busy.
Like a Clipper.
Yeah,
gone.
Busy.
The Halfway House. That used to be mega.
Busy. Yeah.
But so there you go.
But yeah.
Okay. So we'll turn to this now. What gear are you using?
Gear at the moment I'm using, because we're in the duo using backing tracks, I don't use an amp anymore. I go direct into the PA using a Boss GT100.
Never heard of them.
Which I bought off this young man next to me.
Yeah.
And I've had, you know what, because I pretty much given up on multi-effect units, and I had my own pedal board, which I had on my individual pedals when I was using a valve amp.
Yeah.
But The GT100, I just like it. It's easy to use. It's got all the sounds I need. It does what it needs to do. So I use that straight into the desk.
Great.
Goes really well with the backing tracks. It just fits in. And guitar wise, again, Super Strats. I've kind of only got a few at the moment. Well, you know what guitarists are like. We have a lot more gear than we ever need. But my main guitar at the moment is a Charvel SoCal, a slime green one. I bought it because they don't make that colour anymore.
No.
And it's reminiscent of the Steve Vai Green Meanie guitar that he used to use before Ibanez. It's really good. I'm really pleased with it. Floyd Rose, that's rock solid. Plays well. It's got Seymour Duncan distortion pickups. It just sounds great. Cuts through the mix. Brilliant. It's a solid guitar. I've got a Washburn that I've had for quite a few years now. Washburn Steve Stevens model. It's a great guitar. Super Strat. Again, Shala Floyd Rose, which is rock solid.
They're great shots.
It's a brilliant guitar. Sounds great. You know, PAF Pro in the neck and a super distortion in the bridge. It's just a great guitar. And I've kept hold of an Ibanez, a Japanese Ibanez RG470.
Okay.
It's got 24 frets. The other two guitars are 22 frets. I just kept it just because it might be of use. But you know what? The Japanese Ibanezes are what they built a reputation on. They're just great guitars. You know, you pick them up second hand. If you can buy one that's, you know, not been abused, you know, the neck's still straight and that, they're just brilliant guitars. So I've kept hold of that one. Again, sounds brilliant, stays in tune, does everything that you need to do. They're just workhorse guitars. They're brilliant. So that's it. Now I've just got them three.
Just the three.
Just the three to cover.
Okay. So what inspires you to keep playing?
Just for me, it's always been about. It's never been about trying to be in the best band or playing the most gigs or any of that. It's just about trying to improve improve the technique, improve as a player. You know, just trying to practice new things. Just trying to get better all the time, and playing gigs is part of that. You learn a lot by playing live. To me, it's about going out and watching guitar players as well. I watch loads of bands, loads of local musicians playing. Always seeing what I can steal from them, technique wise, and you think, I never thought of doing that, or. You know, we've got this wonderful invention now, the internet, YouTube. You can go on there. There's such great things to watch on there. You know, where you can just learn so much, which that wasn't available when I was learning to play at the beginning. You'd have to go and buy a book on guitars, or you know, go to the library, get a book out on lead guitar, try and learn from the different scales and things like that. But you know, there's great tutorials now. It's all about learning technique, trying to improve.
The younger guitarists now it's at the fingertips now. Yeah. I mean, even learning chords, runs, they show them so slow, and you go, that's why I was going wrong. If you go wrong, but so it's so easy for a youngster to learn now. Well, like you said, we used to watch for brother or what are you doing?
Exactly.
And they try and hide. My brother did. He'd be playing and he'd turn away from me. When the shows or nothing. Come on.
But that for me, it's all about just trying to improve and just trying to get better all the time. Definitely. Is what I'm about.
Well, it seems to be happening. So
I hope so.
Okay. Have you got any funny stories from bands, duos, anything like that?
I'd say not so much funny stories, but when you're in bands, you find yourself in a lot of just weird situations more than funny stories, and maybe they're not even funny at the time. It's just when you look back in them, like just bizarre stuff, and you know, everyone knows drummer jokes and things like that.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you, and it's a true story. When we were playing in the Ramones band, we had a gig miles away. It was down in Tavistock, and our drummer lived in Carnarvon at the time.
Yeah.
So actually, we kind of met up, and we went down in one car, and we drove all the way to Tavistock, and he'd forgot his drum kit. Now, you think, well, I'm a drummer, I'm driving the length of the country to play drums, and he'd put in like maybe his snare and a few other bits and pieces, and he'd forgot the rest of his kit. Like, you just think, how can this happen? But luckily we were on with another band, and there's videos still there, and we're actually the Ramones playing Ramones stuff, but he's on a Green Day drum kit, because we had to borrow the drum kit from the other band, but things like that. But I've seen all kind of bizarre stuff, like people drunk, people falling through fire doors, Del Boy style, like, you know, and falling out, and just lots and lots of just strange situations and strange venues and bizarre goings on. But it's all part of the fun of being in a band, and it's what makes it enjoyable. The fact that you can go out on a Friday, Saturday night gigging, you never know what you're going to see, what you're going to come across, and you know, lots of banter and just good stuff, really.
Definitely. Okay, what's the best request you've ever heard somebody asking for?
Oh, best request.
And worst.
Oh God, I don't know about that. We get requests all the time. Obviously now we're doing 80s stuff. We get 80s requests all the time, and you can't learn every 80s song. So we get all the standard ones. It's good if someone asks a request and you've got it in the set anyway, but they don't know, and you go, oh yeah, we'll have a go at that. But yeah, we you know, the other thing that we get now in the 80s duo is that we get bizarre requests where people obviously know we're an 80s duo, but they'll come up and ask for like Motorhead or some. I suppose they played in the 80s, but it's not our kind of thing. Or you know, they'll, when we were in the quite recently in the U2 tribute band, people would come up and ask for Oasis songs, and we'd be like, but no, I'd be dressed as the Edge, and I'd be like, no, we're U2 tribute, and he'd be like, oh, but do you know Rock and Roll Star? Yeah. And we're like, no, you know, just bizarre stuff like that, which where people ask for, you know, strange stuff, but you know, it's one of them. It's good if you can pull one out of the bag where they you know, someone does ask for something, and you go, oh yeah, we'll have a go at that, and you know, then that's quite good.
It's great stuff.
Yeah. Or the always the get out one I was using. We'll learn it for next time. We'll learn it for next time we come back, we'll learn it.
So I know you've sort of said that you've met a few here. What did you actually have to say to them when you met them?
Well, I've been lucky to meet quite a few people. I met Tony Iommi, I met Jakey Lee, I've met Paul Gilbert, and it's one of them where you kind of appreciate that you don't want to mither them with the same stuff. Yeah. But I kind of am like, hi, hello, you know. And
that's what they don't want.
But you just kind of have to say, look, thank you for what you've done, and for, you know, for the inspiration, the pleasure that you've given from, you know, listening to all this stuff, and you know, because they're only humans as well. You know, they're superhumans or gods to everyone when you look at them. But really, that, you know, deep down they're only people. But you know, it was definitely for me. To meet Jakey Lee, he gave me a set list. I got some plectrums off him and that kind of stuff, and just to meet one of your idols. Who, you know, when you're growing up, you watch all the Aussie videos and all this kind of stuff, Bark of the Moon and Ultimate Sin and all this, and then to actually get to meet someone and just, you know, shake his hand and just say, you know, thanks so much for that. Yeah.
Wow. So do you ever get nervous when you got to play? Or?
You know what? No, I don't, and I don't know why that is, because I'm not that much of a outgoing, confident, extrovert person, but I never get nervous when I've got to go up and play, and I think it's because I do my homework beforehand. I learn the songs well, so I know that I've got it in me to do it. But I find that when I get up on stage, it's like it's like a bit of an alter ego thing, and the confidence just comes from that, really. But no, I enjoy, the thing is I enjoy it, and some people do get a lot of nerves before they go on stage, but I just think, you know, if a venue's booked us to play, and it's quite a privilege that you can say, well, yeah, I'll go and play, and you've just got to enjoy it, and I get enjoyment from it, and if I didn't enjoy it and I was nervous and all the rest of it, then I probably wouldn't do it. I'd just go and practice at home or something. So I love playing gigs, and just enjoy
brilliant
it.
stuff. Right. Do you write any songs?
No, you know what? I'm not really a songwriter. I've, you come up with riffs sometimes or things like that. But I think if you were in kind of an original band or something like that, that would be part of it. But because I've always really played in cover bands, apart from like maybe the first couple of bands I was in, I've never had to write songs, so it's something that I've maybe in the future it might be something, but not at the moment. I don't. It's not something that I'm not a songwriter really. So,
can you teach?
Can I teach? Well, from my day job, I teach. I don't teach music, but I do teach, and it's something that I've thought about, but. Because I'm a self-taught player, and I know some of the underpinning technical jargon and things like that. Again, maybe something in the future. I would do.
So have you ever been fired by a band then?
No.
You ever had to fire anybody?
No, and the reason I think the bands I've been in, I've always known kind of when it was the right time to move on.
Yeah.
And not because of any dispute of people in bands or whatever, because I'd like to think, and if any people are watching, that I still get on with the people who have been in bands, and I go and watch them in their new bands and all the rest of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, life's too short for falling out with people and things like that. You find that most musicians are decent people. They're the most easy to get on with most times. Everyone in bands, they have disputes of this is my solo, I'm going to do this solo, or you're too loud, I'm too loud, you haven't learned all, but you've made a mistake. But let's face it, we do it for enjoyment. You don't do it to fall out. And I've just always I've known when it's time to move on, and you just do it. And so no, I've never fired anyone from a band. I've never been fired. It's always been a mutual thing. You move on, you start something else.
Good stuff. Well, I'm going to ask you something totally different that I've never asked anybody else. Well, since we've been talking about it, what's your favourite Jakey Lee riff?
Oh, that is a tough one, because that's
not
like
solo riff.
Yeah, riff. Well, the obvious one would be something like Bark of the Moon. First track off Bark of the Moon. It was his opening statement, really. Yeah. It's a great song. It's a classic Aussie song. But I revisited both Jakey Lee Aussie records quite recently, and there's absolute gems on Ultimate Sin. It's one of the albums from Aussie that's overlooked a lot of times, but you listen to it and it was the sound of the 80s rock. It was. Yeah. There's great ones on there. Killer of Giants is a great song on that album. Yeah. And there's loads of them. But the Jakey Lee, the stuff he did in Badlands as well. Yeah. you know, great stuff. You know, Dreams in the Dark and all that kind of stuff. Brilliant.
It's playing very rhythmic.
Very rhythmic, and it's hard to get right if you ever try and play. In fact, there's a video on YouTube where he explains the riff for Bark of the Moon and how other people get it wrong.
Well, that's fine. I watched that, and I've watched so many others. I mean, even the guy that filled in, what was his name? Oh, Gus. Gus G. He plays it different.
Yeah.
He said Jake plays it like this, but I find it easier. It sounded the same.
Yeah.
Although Gus tends to play this note, which looks harder.
Yeah.
But it's a great riff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing itself, it's not just that wee bit,
there's all kinds to it. The more you analyse the things, there's things that most people would gloss over, but yeah.
And you could hear that Jake has definitely listened to Randy, because he's got that same rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, like Randy used to do, and wow. Okay,
Right,
so what about, next on, what about your favourite EV8 guy? Eddie Van Halen, favourite Eddie Van Halen riff?
Riff as opposed to solos. Oh God, there's so many. You know what? If you listen to even the first Van Halen record, it's just you listen to it now and it's just timeless. There's so much stuff on it. You know, the early stuff. You know, Atomic Punk and Jamie's Crying and all these songs. And the thing with Eddie Van Halen, when you listen to his songs, it's not riffing as such. It's not chords and playing. It's a different approach to rhythm playing. In the single notes, he very rarely plays just like full chords as we would know it. Like
it does quick.
Yeah, and
it's a very quick thing.
And you know, you listen to all that stuff. You know, Ain't Talking About Love of the first Van Halen album. It's a different way of, you know, all the Van Halen songs, especially the early ones, have got like a signature from you can hear it in the first few bars, and then you know what that song is. You know, so it's anything off them early albums.
It's like Panama. As soon as it all stops, ding 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 ding. It's just amazing. It's brilliant. Bang, it comes back in.
Well, the thing is, you go right through the Van Halen catalogue really, and you know, 1984's got brilliant songs on it, but even the later on stuff, Sammy Hagar area.
Oh yeah, I love some of that
Van Halen. It was brilliant stuff.
Even Hot for Teacher, it's sort of very countryish.
Yeah.
It's very jazzy and country.
Of course,
it totally changed there.
Such a great player.
Good stuff. Okay, so unless you've got anything else to ask, I think
no,
can wrap it up.
I think that's covered all the musical bases.
You're very happy with.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. So it's been HUGHROCKO interviews on location again with Andy Sharp. So thank you very much, Andy, for having me and letting me look into your life. It's been great, mate, and good luck with the band, or the duo, should I say. And till next time, see you later.